wars. Many millions of innocent people have perished. Wars are used to conquer and destroy others, and instill fear to control population. They were glorified too often and by too many. This story is about an ordinary person who overcame and survived extraordinary circumstances of two wars.
Я, фамилия моя, зовут меня Michael Belkin, Michael Belkin. Моего отца звали Герш.
My name is Michael Belkin. I was born on the 23rd of February 1918 in a village called Novopoltavka in the Nikolaev region. It was a Soviet collective farm, mainly Jewish members in the south of Ukraine. My father was a farmer and a bookkeeper at a milk factory. He died young at 48, leaving my mother with the 6 children. I had experienced hunger and cold during my childhood. I'm not sure if I'll remember much. I'll be 100 years old soon, but I'll try my best. I was conscripted into the Red Army in 1937. At first I was sent to the surgeon school. After graduation, as a good student, I was sent to an officer school in the city of Voronezh. When the war between Soviet Union and Finland began, was 1939 I believe, I was serving as a lieutenant in the 104 Artillery Regiment. I have to admit that Finland was well prepared for this war. It was difficult to take their positions. Our shells bounced off those pillboxes like footballs. I visited one of their pillboxes. It was a well made of good concrete, connected to the underground bunkers, like a town. They could stay there for many years with their food and water supply. When the war ended, I was promoted to a second lieutenant. It was lucky. I was given leave and had an opportunity to see my family before the next war. When Germany attacked the Soviet Union, I was sent to the front in the 41st Artillery Regiment of 96th Division. At first, I served as a second in a command of military unit and soon became the unit commander. The Germans were advanced fast, easily destroyed our tanks. On the 6th day of the war, I met my brother by accident. He served in another unit. I tried to save him and invite him to join my unit. He said, "I can't. If I leave, I'll be killed by my own." Later I was told that he was wounded and had been shot by Germans. But fortunately, he survived, and I found him after this war. To be truthful, the Red Army was not ready to prepare for this war. We thought that we were going to advance and fight of enemy territory. All of our defense lines, plans, tanks and supplies were placed close to the western border of the USSR. During the first few days, the Germans had destroyed and taken them all. We were retreating mainly on foot. We had guns, but no shells. Rifles had no bullets. Reinforcements were sent to us, just schoolboys. I personally received 46 of them. They had no military training and no weapons. They were told, "You'll take weapons from dead Germans." They couldn't get any as we were retreating. Once a bomb landed next to the horse carriage I was on. One guy lost a hand, and a friend of mine had his belly cut open. There were no medics around. I used a needle and treated to sew him up. I have no idea if he survived or not. I didn't see Germans working. They were on the trucks, cars, motorbikes. We worked in the mud and had nothing to eat. At the beginning of the war, the Germans worked, they thought they on a holiday, pretty relaxed, and often only partially in uniformed. At the same time, even during retreat, our commanders often punished soldiers for not properly wearing their uniform. Only later we started to receive American trucks and eating meat and some other food in cans that was sent by US. Local people also gave us the food. I truly didn't think that we were going to win this war. We were fighting with rifles against machine guns. Sometimes our soldiers collected and fought with the Germans' weapons. Soon, SMERSH, the secret police military units, were attached to the regular army units. They killed too many of us, those who were retreating or not advancing fast enough. After receiving their reinforcements and some personnel rearrangements, I was appointed as a commander of a punishment battalion at the Southwestern Front. It was formed mainly from criminals and soldiers serving in it as a punishment. The German army was still advancing fast and we were left behind enemy lines. There were 85,000 of us captured by small German units. Immediately Germans started separating officers, commissars, political officers, Jews, and those who looked like a Jew. I personally saw how over 200 of them were shot. There was nothing to eat, only the dead horses and raw wheat. The one Russian soldier who didn't know I was a Jew told the German that I was his commander. The German kicked him hard, saying, "You a dirty, traitorous pig, don't you know what will happen to him?" At night, my driver asked me to join him. We found where the traitor was sleeping. He was a big fellow. I held his feet and the driver strangled him. After we managed to return, because an order from Stalin, SMERSH detained and questioned all who had been captured by Germans, and 15,000 of us, including me, probably because as an officer and a Jew, I was not killed by Germans, were sent to the cattle train cars to Vorkuta, which is situated just north of the Arctic Circle. It was during the winter and was minus 50 at the time. I was digging coal in the dark, wet mine. People were dying like flies there. 3 months later, many of us were sent to the front again. I was given command of a punishment battalion. To serve in a punishment battalion was very dangerous. I had 1,200 under my command, almost size of brigade. Soldiers and officers were sent to my battalion for even minor violation, like a joke about Stalin or praising German weapon. One of my captains was sentenced for 10 years of imprisonment just for telling his dream, in which he was captured by Germans and they gave him wine to drink. Informers who were working for SMERSH and NKVD were everywhere. Wherever the German army advanced, we were sent to stop them. We were used to break through the lines of defense of the enemy. Even now I can't believe that a simple Jewish guy like me was able to do it. I participate in the liberation of Auschwitz, where Jews and Soviet Army POWs were held. While approaching Auschwitz, I had no idea that a death camp was in the front of us. Barracks were full of survivors. They didn't look like a human, just skin and bones. I saw a hole in the ground full of dead bodies. A bulldozer was next to it and a pile of soil. The Germans did not have time to cover the bodies. I think some Nazis who were left behind had gone mad. In one of the barracks I saw that German guards were still collecting the gold teeth from the corpse. One SS officer was riding a horse, dragging the body of the Jew behind. I gave the order to tie him to the horse by his legs and let the horse run free. My battalion was under the direct command of Marshal Zhukov. Whenever Marshal Zhukov appeared, we knew there was a plan for advancing and attacks against our enemies. We all felt it. Once he came to our division and saw soldiers making white sandals that would enable them to cross the swamp. Zhukov gave us an order to cut the trees and move tanks across the swamp the same way. We did, and won the battle. I was commanding an infantry division during the battle for the Reichstag. I reported to Zhukov that we had taken the ground floor for the Reichstag. His reply, slowly advancing, Colonel, very slowly. I said, I'm sorry, Comrade Marshal, we'll do it better. I couldn't argue or give any excuses to him. I lost many soldiers during the Battle of Berlin, where I was injured and was evacuated to the hospital. When I came home after the hospital, I found out that 2 of my siblings had perished in the Holocaust. I arrived in Australia in 1980 and have an opportunity to participate in several Anzac parades in Melbourne. I believe that people need to keep peace. War is horrible, very horrible. I had this experience, and if I survived, it must be thanks to God. The war looks nice on the TV and movies, but in reality it's a mess. I served 17 years in the Soviet Army. I only wish that my children and grandchildren live in peace. We fight to death for the life to triumph.